Jesus crossed to the far shores of the Sea of Galilee, there is the Sea of Tiberias, and great crowds of people followed because they saw the miraculous signs he had performed on the sick. Notice now who's showing up. Sick folk. And in most cases, that's who come to church. Sick folk. Might not be more physical sick, but spiritually sick, spiritually drained. Watch this. They came to Jesus because, now watch this, if he healed Mary, he healed Annie, whatever he did for them, I want the same thing done for me. They had saw the miracles that he had performed, so they wanted miracles done on their behalf. But now notice what Jesus did here. Jesus says, listen. He says, let's feed them. Let's feed them. How much money do we have? How much money do we have? And Philip says, we only got about 200 pennies, dineros. And so, but that's not enough to feed this crowd, Jesus. That's not enough to feed this crowd. But now notice, if you look between verse 4 and 6, Jesus didn't ask that question because he wanted to find out how much he had. He wanted to bring attention to the crowd because the Bible says he already knew what he was going to do. And let me pause there parenthetically, because see, you in a dilemma trying to figure out how you're going to make it and how things are going to come to pass. Can I just tell you something? Just shake your neighbor's hand and tell him Jesus already know what he's going to do. Yeah, your situation is already worked out. The problem in your situation is you. And most time when we don't know what he's going to do, we have a tendency to act different than what Jesus wants us to act. Come on, talk to me, somebody. The first thing we do, we panic. And if the government had not stepped in, Deacon Lewis, just in the nick of time with $85 billion. Now, we can't even count that high. We can't even count that high. That's just a great imagination for us. Stepped in with $85 billion. Let me tell you what would happen. See, they went back and they referenced back in the 20s when times got hard. This ain't the first time this happened, and ain't nothing new up under the sun. But see, when it happened before, they remembered. Folk went to jumping off of buildings. Folk went to killing themselves. Folk went to committing suicide. So therefore, they said, listen, we are already in war. We don't need folk jumping off buildings around here. If folk go to losing their job, because see, not only those folk on Wall Street, but right here at 5228 inside of Greater St. Luke, there's some folk living from paycheck to paycheck. Come on, talk to me, somebody. And if you snatch the rug from up under them, and since their faith is not in God, the first thing they do, they'll think it's all over, and they'll take their, I wish I had a witness up in here. See, some folk don't understand. Some folk don't know how mama and them made it. They don't know how grandmama, come on, talk with somebody, made it. They didn't have no college education. Some of them didn't even have 12th grade education, but they knew the Lord. Can I get a witness up in here? And they was quick to tell you, that's how we made it. And they knew if we just get it, Sister Lucas, to the Lord, if I just take it to the Lord in prayer, and watch this right here, and leave it there, yeah, Brother Flood, everything is going to be. Do I have anybody here got into grandmama theology? Just know that if I just get it to the Lord, if you just get it to the Lord. If I know I got some older folk that know, but I need to encourage some young folk in here, because see, first of all, you need to understand it ain't finna get any better, and you can't depend on your ingenuity. You can't depend on Wall Street. You can't depend on some financial conglomerate. You can't depend on the insurance company. Can't depend on your 401k. Can't depend on your 403b. Can't depend on your RA, because that might be gone tomorrow.